Hello everyone, my name is El Parnaso and in today's video I'm gonna show you the greatest rematch of all time. So don't forget to don't forget to give a like, subscribe and share the channel with your people so we can grow. Also remember that I will still be updating the best Yummy masterclass with my information that I used to won the national championship and almost made it to Worlds with a top 8 at the Continental Championship. It already has over 5 hours of content that eventually will become 6 and 7 or even 8 hours. You can see that there's already an update for August, and for tomorrow I will have a new one circling around Pot of Slot. So give it a shot, it's just $20 and let's begin. So here again, if you saw the other video, you know that I just fooled my friend into play test my Toon deck because no one wants to play that shit because the deck is until November. I think that's the worst approach that you can make. If you already know that a deck is coming, you should try to test it to understand the axioms, understand the template board, understand the ratios, all that shit that, for example, I made in the theory about the Yummy deck. The board template, the card quality, the consistency approach, the extenders, the non-engine, how to build the side deck, now that you have all these parameters already realized. So I think it's important, right, to give yourself a shot to try to test the deck. So this is the second match that I could convince him to play. And now I actually lose in the dice roll. So this is something very interesting when it comes to how the Toon deck plays, because a lot of you like to just cry about it, like, right? Like, oh my god, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is ruined forever because it's too much hand knowledge, or they have too many ways to play around hand traps and all that cry baby bitching that some people like to do, right? Like, that's the worst thing. First, that's the worst thing you can do, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an intellectual challenge. The fucking point is for you to have problems to solve. So if Konami just gives you the shit, the mediocre shit that you want, this game goes against all the nature that it was built for. An intellectual challenge so your brain can fucking think. You know how to do that? To think? So if you know how to do it, instead of fucking crying like a dipshit, you need to face the challenge. That's the whole point, okay? So when you try to do that, you will realize one thing, which I did here, right here. Whenever you go second, the Toon engine kinda suck, bro. Like it's very very bad when it comes to try to actually push an established board. And usually you shouldn't be in that position because you are drawing a bunch of hand traps. But no matter how many hand traps you put in your deck, 20, 30, 39 for no, 35 for all I care. If you, there is still a chance when you draw just one or any, or the ones that you drew are just not enough. And in all of those situations, you need to see if your engine can actually push against boards. Because no matter how good your shit is going first, if your shit is worthless shit going second, then the deck maybe is not that good. Or maybe you need to put other engine in the deck to try to solve the problem, and then you can build from there, right? So that is what we are trying to do by testing the deck. Here, going second, for example, I just drew an infinite impermanence, right? So the fuck I'm gonna do with that, right? So here, obviously I'm gonna keep trying to push it. I made the imperm, so he has the welcome home. So now I'm basically fucked, right? So let's try to see what we can do so you can get the point, right? Because here it seems like I can do some shit, right? So let's see if we can actually do that. So he's just going to do his combo here. Now, we are all humans here, okay? So don't give me your, oh, he should have done this or he should have that, like, okay? You need to also remember that he's kind of tilted at this point because I didn't tell him that I was going to use an OCG deck that's coming like in 4 months, right? So he's kind of distracted about that. No, regardless of that, he's just going to do the usual shit that he likes to do with this librarian right here. I don't know why people are doing this shit, but you know, people do what they like to do, I guess. So here, there, he's just going to do all his shit. If you're wondering how he did a level 5 with these two, it's because this guy right here just put himself as a level 4 monster. So he's just doing this shit so he can draw a card. Well, I reminding that he need to draw. And yeah, of course, he's just gonna draw another Elf No Disruption. So now he can special summon this asshole from the hand. And now I think, is gonna try to keep drawing. I'm not sure what he was trying to do here, but this is still a lot of shit, right? Like, he has the names, he has the negation, he has the other negation, and he may have some other draws there. But again, I'm pretty sure that you can do a lot of better shit right here. But I think it's still worth to see how this end board, even though it's not that amazing as you can think, is still very enough to deal with my board. First, yeah, drawing the goddamn Purulia, right? But that's life. And here I'm just gonna lose my cards. Luckily for me, I just lose a repeated copy that I have. But how many plays do I have here actually? I really need to put Toon World in the field zone, because if not, the Evil Bots is useless. Because Evil Bots can only special summon itself if I control Toon World. Otherwise, it's just a shitty level 6 monster that don't do absolutely fucking anything, right? So this is what I'm going to try to do. You could have made the argument to try to push with the illusionist, but the mind scan wasn't going to do absolutely anything because I don't have any Toon card on the field or graveyard if I start with the illusionist. And here you can see how just not even the end board, bro. Not even the goddamn end board. Just a stupid Ash Blossom make me pass. Imagine that I was going first even. That Ash Blossom would have been enough too, because I would have left just the mind scan with the possible negation, but because at least I will have a Toon card in the graveyard, right? But after that, like, what else? So you need to see, like, this is a realistic scenario. Like, stop thinking that crybaby bullshit of how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is ruined for the 100th time because of a new interaction that you are not familiar with, which is the whole point. The whole point is to have shit to deal with. New shit to try as a challenge, an intellectual challenge, so your brain can actually work while you have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh! This is the point of the sport. It's not winning stupid packs or deep shit or stupid like playmats that no one gives a fuck about. It's not about stupid glory, because this game don't have any glory, okay? Like, you go to the street and you say that you're a national champion of Yu-Gi-Oh! No one gives 2 ounces of shit, okay? So there is no glory here, only personal glory. And when you consider the idea of personal glory, there is no better personal glory than besting yourself. And what a better way to best yourself than taking the intellectual challenges that Konami constantly give you. Okay? So don't be a crybaby fuck. Okay? Have some self-esteem or something. So here I'm just losing, right? So now I'm gonna show you another thing. You say that, oh, hand traps can't stop the deck, never, and what the fuck, right? Like, let's see. Here, again, I have 18 starters in my deck, but in reality, this still happens. You know why this still happens? Because this is not the first deck to have 18 starters, dipshit. This is not the first deck to have a lot of consistency, you ignorant fuck. This is just like any other deck that has ever existed in Yu-Gi-Oh! You just need to try to understand it instead of cry baby bitching, okay? So, grow up. Now, here, I only have one way to play. He throws the Mulchami Purulia, one of the best hand traps against the deck. So, I'm just trying to think, okay, I'll try to give him just one draw and do my shit, right? So, I'm going for the Toon Bark. I'm going for the Toon Bark here because if my opponent has draw, I'm losing to the draw anyways with the Toon War in my hand, right? But if I go with the Bridge of the Toon Bookmark, at least I'm trying to play around Ghost Ogre, because by having the Bookmark in my graveyard, I can protect any Toon War from card destruction once by banishing the card, right? So that was my reasoning here. So here my opponent is going to draw me, which I think is the best approach. I know that a lot of people may think at this point that the Purulia was useless or what a stupid fuck. Why are you doing this? Well, he's doing this because it's a good play. At the end of the day, you would rather not draw cards than make sure your opponent is not establishing their board, especially when it's a deck like Toon, like the new Toon, that whenever it starts like this, a draw actually make him like stop the game. Like there's kind of no way that I can leave interruptions or good quality interruptions, no matter how many kind of combinations I have, because just by starting with the Toon table of contents, you can realize a lot of different shit. The first and one of the shit that you can realize here is that I need to expose myself to draw. I am forced to expose myself to draw because if I will have, for example, in my hand a funny dark rabbit or the Toon Word field spell, I will have start with those to try to mitigate the damage that Droll and Lockbird can do to me, right? So just by this, my opponent can read the environment and make the decision of this may be my only starter, or maybe I just have multiple copies of Toon Table of Contents. Both scenarios allows the draw to be a lot more effective than just praying to get another kind of draw. So obviously, because of that, I'm just I'm just passing, right? So regardless of that, having Toon Table of Contents in the graveyard is really nice because I hard draw the mind scan and I can see my opponent's hands as long as I have a Toon card on the field or the graveyard. So at least I can have that, right? And so I just flip it and I get all the perfect knowledge from my opponent. And now I know what you're going to think, right? Like here, the duel was basically over, like literally over, because I can just declare mind scan to negate either the terminus or the slot, and then I can Solemn Judgment the other spell, right? Because now that I know the other two cards don't do shit, right? So why didn't I do that? Because I'm just letting him go to the Memphis. Why did I not do that? Because at this moment, remember, we are all humans here, and I'm just starting with the deck. I was thinking, there is no fucking way that I can actually declare the card and negate without having a Toon card on my field. Like that was my logic because I was thinking about the the, the Toon Terror. I was thinking there is no way, right? Like there is no way that there is no way that the mind scan don't need anything fucking nothing to try to negate a card. Like that was my logic because cards like Toon Terror requires Toon Word and a Toon Monster. So I was just kind of thinking there's no way, right? And it was so clear to me at that moment that mind scan can't be that fucking broken that I assume that I need something on the field besides the mind scan to negate. So that's why I didn't do it. That's why this spot is resolving. So now I have to deal also with the Regina. At the same time, if I didn't draw starters, I should have drawn my hand traps or my non-engine cards, right? And in this case, I have the Judgment, the Ogre, and the Harmonium. So most likely there is no way that he's just going to beat me anyways. That was my logic there. And I think that also put me in a situation of not reading again my mind scan to confirm the situation because I felt so secure already with my Solemn Judgment, the Ogre, and the Harmonia, right? And also by seeing that he don't have any way to interact with my Toon bookmark because the Ghost Ogre won't do shit to my Toon World. Oh, yeah, because he didn't have. Oh, yeah. Okay. No, my bad. I'm talking shit right here. Yeah. Okay. I didn't use the mind scan. Okay, I remember now. I didn't use the mind scan because he drew the Ghost Ogre. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Which is another funny interaction here, just to learn with, right? Sorry for all the stupid rambling. I was just thinking why I didn't activate this. I'm just a tomfog, and and then oh yeah, I saw the ogre, so why I'm going to activate the mind scan, right? Which is a very big deal, and will be a very big deal. Like all of you are crybaby bitching about mind scan being a negate and all that shit. Like come on, bro, just play three ogres. and just play the hand traps that are going against the logic of the Toon deck, okay? But in order to choose the hand traps to deal with the Toon deck, you need to understand the Toon deck. So play the fucking Toon deck and stop having this constant and eternal fear that every fucking Yu-Gi-Oh player, or most of them, have every time Konami gives a new deck. Oh, Konami is power creeping everything. They are ruining the game just to sell new product. Like, don't be stupid, okay? This ain't even power creep, bro. Like, have you ever saw Yu-Gi-Oh in 2003? That is fucking power creep. When your opponent can FTK your ass without you having any way to deal with it. Okay? Yu-Gi-Oh is not power creeping. Like, I don't know why people are thinking that stupid shit. Yu-Gi-Oh is actually power nerfing. And a lot, okay? I'll explain that in another video. But the point is, stop being a crybaby bitch. So so you can see how mind scan can be all whatever the fuck you want, but at the end of the day, like, this card is just making this shit the eye of the continuous trap when I can see my opponent's hand. And at the end of the day, who plays that fucking trap card? No one's. You know why? Because having hand knowledge from your opponent, and only hand knowledge from your opponent, is not that big of a deal as you may think. Okay, there are so many implications in a Yu-Gi-Oh tool, more than just hand information. Okay, so come on. So here the ogre is constantly checking my mind scan. So, that's life. Here, some people will say that to use the judgment. The problem is that I think that I'm in a position when I want them to just waste their resources, because he's not going to get into anything that can threat my Soling Judgment to be activated before. So I rather have him lose the synchro that they may try to summon, and just in case. So he's like, because at the end of the day, yes, I am allowing him to add a follow-up in the terminus, or well, to add the terminus, but he already used the terminus. And Elf Note is such a bad deck that this card right here only has one target: this stupid shit, and this other stupid shit that is a brick. So, because I am aware of that, I didn't care about him adding the terminus. It don't do nothing. It literally don't do nothing. So it's not even an Elf Note card to use as a fodder for the Regina. Like this, whatever. So here is just doing his shit to level up, and then to make the synchro. And I can just Solemn Judgment the Axel, right? Now the Axel is gone forever. He already used the effect to level up, so now he can use it again in this very same turn. So now he just have to try to play with whatever has left. And, that I think will be enough. However, I think that I got kind of greedy here, and you will see here. Like, because I can, regardless of me having the Ogre and the Harmonia, I can still lose the game. I think I just wanted to avoid him making synchro with the Elf Note Power Patron, because I don't want him to add any new Elf Note card, right? So that is why I decided to make the Hydraulis here, so I can get rid of both of them, and I can force him to just go for Fortuna. So because he only can to force him to try to keep playing, right? Because yeah, he can go for the Tinia also, but like regardless of him going for Tinia or for Fortuna, the continuous spell and the continuous trap card are both checked by my Ghost Ogre. So I was feeling nice, right? I just bounced the Fortuna here. This is where I think it was the first mistake. Maybe I should have sent something else, something useful, something more useful for the future, because he can just special summon the Fortuna again, right? So, we are all humans here. You see? Even a national champion can make these mistakes. Even someone that went to 2 continental championships and got 3rd place and top 8 with what must have to be the most consistent world championship qualifier performance in all the continents, can still make these kind of mistakes. You know why? Because we are all fucking humans here, okay? So deal with that, okay? So here is going to get for the Rhapsodia, And here's when I make the mistake. I was just thinking, yeah, I'm just gonna go over his ass and I'm fine, right? But here's when he almost he basically like checkmate me, because instead he decided to go for the medius. This was very interesting. And here is when I'm making another mistake. Here, the mind scan is not checked by the ghost ogre anymore, and he don't have any synchro for the Rhapsodia to negate my mind scan. So here, just by showing that he was making this -1 just to make a level 4 dark monster, by already having a level 6 light monster, should have been a trigger for me to obviously make I use mind scan to declare Chaos Angel, right? I didn't realize it at that moment, and I'm gonna get very hard punished by it, because now, instead of risking himself for the Rhapsodia to keep playing, he's going for the Chaos Angel instead, and now the Mind Scan can do shit, right? Because remember, yes, you can say, oh, but Mind Scan isn't a negate. Why are you not negating the Chaos Angel right here? Because Mind Scan have specific requirements. Let's see. You can declare one card name that is not among the card's effects activated in this chain. You know what that means? It means that this shit can get Nightmare Phoenix, this shit can get SP Little Knight, this shit can get Chaos Angel, because all of those cards triggers at summon, which means that you won't have the window to declare that name if they successfully summon the card, okay? So that specific shit is something that you can take advantage. You can activate a quick spell in the draw phase because you have priority and they can declare anything before, you know? So instead of cry baby bitching, try to understand those specific shits so you can take advantage of that. Intellectual challenge, okay? Fuck. I'm sorry. I'm just tired of so many people cry baby bitching like dipshits. So well, here, because of my obvious stupid mistake, I'm just getting banished my own mind scan. There's no way to get this card back. So, it is what it is. And now he has the Terminus as a follow-up because I allow him to have that follow-up. So, like we are kind of in a tricky situation. So here I drew the comic cat. He knows that I only have the bookmark though, because now is when hand knowledge is going to play a big factor here, because I should have lost here, but hand information and information in general is going to save my ass here. Like, obviously, I know, like, he don't have any fucking interactions because the Rhapsodia can revive anything, so he can have the Chaos Angel on the field, right? So now I'm going with the bookmark. Like, I'm going with the bookmark, the shit that he knows, and I'm activating the Toon Word, right? So here is when he got greedy, I think. He got greedy because now, let's think about this. What the fuck can the Toon cards do against a Chaos Angel that is unaffected and cannot be destroyed by battle? What? I tell you what, absolutely fucking nothing. You can't do anything. And I'll tell you why, because there's another specific shit that you need to understand. This comic cat is not an Infernoid monster, okay? You know why? Because the Infernoid monsters, they tribute as a cost, which is very different as tributing as an effect. Maybe my opponent was thinking, oh, if the comic cat, if he used the Toon Word and he adds the comic cat can just normal summon and tribute as cost my Chaos Angel, right? I don't know if that will have even worked, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Someone in the comments can let me know if it's a judge. But blah, blah, blah. What I was saying. Okay, and then maybe he was thinking that my Chaos Angel is going to be useless anyways, and my Chaos Angel is my only monster to use my Rhapsodia to revive the Regina, right? And Regina is the Power Patreon, and the Power Patreon is the June Pride, and the June Pride can be like a bit more, right? At least 2 new Elf Node names that can be useful, actually. So regardless of that, I really think that the Chaos Angel on the field is something that you can do anything about. I'm pretty sure that the Comic Cat, because the tribute is the effect and not the cost, can never send the Chaos Angel if it's unaffected. Also, I'm not sure if even if the tribute of the Comic Cat effect is a cost, I don't know if even then I can tribute the Chaos Angel. Someone in the comments, please let me know. That would be useful. But the other thing I'm pretty sure he was thinking is that that there was a chance of me playing the Toon spell that is a Snatch Steal. So maybe he was also thinking that this Toon world by itself can check the Chaos Angel anyways, right? So that's why I'm saying that two different things play against my friend here. First, the knowledge about the Toon deck, because yes, that spell card that is Snatch Steal for the Toon deck exists, and you can search it with a lot of different cards. Like I think you can search it with the contents, with the bookmark, and or even with the field spell, right? So yes, that's a reality, but at the same time, in the OCG, for example, people are not playing it, and I am not sure if we are gonna play it either. And so if he had that information from the OCG Toon, I don't think he would have made this decision, because he will have understood that there is no cartoon card whatsoever that can do shit against that Chaos Angel. And the other thing that fucks him, I think, is the fact that this Elfnok deck, is not standing the test of time, in the sense that hang knowledge is becoming a lot more common in the development of their engines. We already saw that in Toon, and now we are seeing it in the Toon deck, which means that if hang information is becoming common knowledge for the decks that don't allow you to have hang knowledge will become worse in that specific environment, in that specific advantage, right? So because of that, he didn't knew that I had the Ghost Ogre this whole time. And now this Rhapsody is going to get hard punished by the Ghost Ogre. And now he don't have nothing. So you can see how, even though both of us, like my friend and me, were making mistakes here, there's a lot to learn about it, and there's a lot to understand about the Toon minimal intrications, right? I think it's very important, because now I can just OTK his ass, right? Like I can just do whatever the fuck I want. I will use the rabbit, and because I already have a field spell, I can banish this rabbit, so I can use it again after. I'm gonna add the other field spell. Like I can just play safely, because I know he has the terminus for whenever the mind scan was active, and nothing in the graveyard do shit, right? So now I just have to OTK him, which the deck can also kinda easily do, as you can see, especially when you have an Harmonia on the field. So I'm just going for the Toon bots, just getting my trap card. So I am going for the other one. Now I'm going with this, and I'll show you why, because I still need to get to all the damages, right? So here I'm going to tribute the Comic Cat. I'm going to use this effect to get back the field spell, because you can also shuffle your own shit too. I'm gonna banish it just in case I need to use that effect again. And now the funny rabbit that I just summoned can search that field spell again. How beautiful, right? Why is this important? Because now I can use these both fuckers to make my own Chaos Angel. Why? Why I'm making my own Chaos Angel if both of them are actually doing 3400 attack just to get 100 more in the Chaos Angel? Because I don't care about actually the Chaos Angel. What I care about is to become this level 4 zero attack monster in a 2200 monster, because now I can discard it to special summon the evil bots that now is in the graveyard, and now I have the damage that I need, right? So great. Now I'm going second again, and we are going to see again the advantage that the deck actually has, is that you can put a lot of non-engine, and when you actually draw a lot of non-engine, it's basically impossible for your opponent to play, especially if the deck is Elfnode, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, no disrespect, but Elfnode is a shitty ass deck, bro. So now he's going for the Welcome Home. He's using the Welcome Home. I'm using one of my 3 hand traps. He used his other extender in the hand, because he only had 2 ways to play even though he drew three engine cards. What the fuck, right? How you draw three engine cards and just have two ways to play? Damn. So so he goes out for the second way he has to play, and I can just imperm his ass. I think, yeah, I rather use the imperm because I don't know. He may have still a terminus or a medius de pure. I know that I can imperm the medius de pure, but I can ash the terminus, right? So that is why. And now he can just depend on his ogre and his impermanence, right? And now you may be saying to me, hey, yes, he drew three engines, but two of the same name, right? Two of them were Elfnor Regina. Therefore, it is very obvious that if you draw multiple copies of your starter, you shouldn't be rewarded by having different ways to play thanks to having the multiple copies. And for to that, I say you are very ignorant and you clearly been not paying attention to Yu-Gi-Oh lately. If I draw two Rizal names, I have a push. If I drew two Yami names, any Yami names, I have an extra push. And now, if I draw two funny dark rabbits, I have an extra push too, as you are going to see. Because I am drawing, well, first I'm drawing the photo slot, which you may think, oh yeah, this is going to be very easy for you because you draw the slot, right? Yeah, but what the fuck is the slot giving me here? It ain't giving me anything to play. At least he's giving me like an impulse, right, to try to push in the future, because now I have the imperm. That's nice, but I still only have two cards of the two same copies of a card to try to play the game, and he has two hand traps. So let's see what can happen here. Here I'm making the dark rabbit and using the effect. Obviously he's going to imperm. And here, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just gonna summon the other rabbit. You know why? Because this card first, before it says that I can, before it says that once per turn you can add to your hand or place face up your field spell Toon or continuous spell. Before it says that, it says something else. After this card is normal or special summon, you can normal summon one monster that mentions Toon word during your main phase this turn, in addition to your normal summon set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You know what this don't say? This don't say except funny dark rabbit, which means that if I draw two rabbits, the first one, even though it's getting imperm, even though it's getting Baylor, even though it's getting whatever the fuck you want, except Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment, right? Like, but besides that, anything else, then you still have the extra normal summon of any card that mentions Toon Word, even if that is the same copy, even if that is another funny dark rabbit. You can do that with Elfro Regina? Of course you can, because Regina sucks. It's the biggest fraud as an extender that I have ever seen in the last 3 years. This card sucks, okay? I am just so disappointed of how Elfno Regina is such a bad card as an extender. It's a fucking brick. It's nothing but a brick. Okay. My point. Funny Dark Rabbit rewards you if you have another Dark Rabbit, as you can see. Because now I can just win the game. Because this other Dark Rabbit is going to get me... Okay, he's going to get me the Toon word. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna ogre me, right? Okay, yeah, he's ogering me. And you will say, oh, now you're losing the game, right? I'm gonna tell you what. Before this field spell, yes, you can add, but also do something else here, and I need you to understand what's gonna happen here. Before resolving another activated card or effect, you can banish one Toon monster you control until immediately after that card effect resolves. You know what that means? It means that this Ghost Ogre, yes, this Ghost Ogre is another effect that allows me to banish my Funny Dark Rabbit. Any of these two Funny Dark Rabbits, and then this Funny Dark Rabbit will immediately come back. You know what that means? It means that I can use that Funny Dark Rabbit fucking again. So by drawing two copies of my normal summon, I got rewarded because now I can play around two of the most popular hand traps that people will use against my deck. Impermanence and Ghost Ogre. Because now what I can do is just using the Funny Dark Rabbit that got banished to add another one. Yeah, that's crazy, right? And now I just win the game. Like I just win. Like there's nothing he can do about it. So you can see how there is a big difference in quality when you compare an actual tier 1 deck with a tier ass deck like Elf Note. Like, come on, like you can see the difference in quality in this minimal shit. It's not because the mind scan is allowing me to see your hand only. It's about everything else, the consistency, the ratios, how the deck actually functions when draws combinations on, or most importantly, when you don't draw combinations, when you draw multiple copies of the same card, you get more rewarded. When here, for decks that are not tier 1, like Elf Note, when you draw two copies of the same card that is meant to be either a starter or a extender, you get punished. Actually, you actually get punished. Here, you get rewarded. So this is what I wanted to show you with this match. I think there's still a lot to learn. I think the Toon deck has infinite possibilities. I think it's very fun to play with. I think it's an intellectual challenge, a beautiful intellectual challenge. Konami just did it again. I am very happy and I can't wait to get these cards